After 5 Premier League games with Manchester United left languishing in 11th position, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is said to be impressed with the progress of the team. But how does Manchester United compare with the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, the teams that Sir Jim Ratcliffe promised us to knock off the purple patch? Welcome to the United of Sport. My name is Webb. Here is an update about the status of Manchester United and whether or not we are headed in the right direction. Let's get into it now. We've seen the Arsenal and Man City game. I'm hoping most of you have watched it. Tight game indeed, a battle of two potential champions, and it has been a good game, to be honest. We also saw the Man United Crystal Palace game where Man United dominated possession. 67% of the ball was ours. We created 15 chances but failed to bury any. We had a good pattern of play. There has been an identity, and I told you here before that the first thing that Eric Ten Hag will be demanded of, the first thing that Ineos would want Eric Ten Hag to do, even with the supporters, was always going to be to give us a playing style and an identity. And honestly, from the first to the last game, that is the fifth against Crystal Palace in the Premier League yesterday, you clearly saw that there is progress in terms of our playing style. We seem to have an idea of how we want to play. Now, Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the man himself, is said to be impressed with what he's seeing despite the results not coming our way. They know that if we continue playing like this and improving, creating chances, it's a matter of time that the chances will then eventually start being buried, and Manchester United will be scoring goals. And of course, we've seen the goals already. I mean, 7-0, 3-0, but we want it more consistently. And of course, there are those games that will always come. Even a Man City with Erling Haaland, who has got 100 goals now in 105 games, 10 goals in the first 5 games in the Premier League, a record he's setting. Even him will have games where he will be completely off his patch. So it happens. But by and large, Ineos are impressed because if they compare where we are and where we were last season, we are clearly making big progress. But I want to give you a proper idea of how I feel we compare against the big teams if I'm to base on what I've watched in the last 5 games, because I've watched all teams play from Chelsea to Liverpool to Man City to Arsenal. I've watched all their games critically, and I'll tell you, we are not so far off these teams. I saw Manchester City, and I will say it here without fear of missing my words. Man City is beatable. Extremely. In fact, we beat them in our worst state ever, probably. We beat them in the FA Cup. But Man City is beatable. You saw a 10-man Arsenal making them sweat and grind for that goal from Stones to get a win. But the thing is, they seem to run short of ideas when they miss Kevin De Bruyne, when they miss Rodri. When Rodri is not there, they are a whole different team. They struggle. Even their most experienced players struggle. They seem to panic when they don't have some of their key players. I feel like, yes, they're a good team. They are still a title contender. But early into the season, the games we are seeing, the performances they're putting on, we can't compare ourselves against them and say we can try to match them. Eric Ten Hag said it sometime before, even when we were still struggling with the injuries we had. He said, the Man City and these Arsenal teams are not so far ahead of us. And of course, we bashed him because of how, we fans, we always want to, based on the results we are seeing. But the reality is, you look at Man United and you're saying we are headed in the right direction, and we can try to match these teams. Arsenal, yes, are solid, they are firm, but I think that's probably because these players have played for a longer time together. They have had more stability. They are more in rhythm. It's their time. They're in their element now. Man United is a work in progress, but even with in our status as a work in progress, my feeling is we are not so far off these teams. Look at the Man United defense. It was a big problem we had last season. I feel like it's almost solved now. I feel like we are rock solid in the back. We are organized. There is now need for our defenders to be more free flowing, to be more comfortable, and to be more aware of how we want to play and when we want to do what. Because at times, like I've said before, the ball stays a bit too long in the back because probably they are still not sure how they need to initiate the attack. Those things come with time, because if you compare with Man City and Arsenal, and these are teams that have backlines that have played together for a longer time, they know what to do when Onana passes the when the goalkeeper passes the or David Raya passes the ball to Gabriel. He instantly knows where he wants to play, to take the ball. His teammates know where to go, how to open up and give him areas to to pass the ball to. With Man United, it's a bit sluggish. I saw Lisandro Martinez, who is one of our more technical players, who dictates how we play, a bit hesitant at times. Now, those are things that you see, but they come with time because this team is being rebuilt. They're also just trying to get the coordinations and patterns. But in terms of the template, for me, I don't think we are far off. And the template that Erik Ten Hag is trying to create with Man United, when we get into the element, when we get into the rhythm, which I think it will be extremely difficult to deal with. That's my honest opinion. So for me, I understand when Ineos are impressed with what they are seeing. I feel like there is a certain wave of belief and confidence among the Man United players now. We've got ballers. We look at Nusair Mazraoui, even the new players fitting in. That even now, even without having a natural left back, you feel like Dalot being inverted, playing left back, is more comfortable playing there. There when we get into a back three, when you have the ball, we are more aware of what we are doing. Everyone is beginning to get comfortable and believing in what we are doing. And it's a matter of time that it will all click. And when we become clinical, when our players keep creating more chances, we start scoring 1-2 more consistently. Trust you me, it's going to be the order of the day. And Man United will obliterate an opponent one of these coming days. So for me, I think if I'm to compare, if we were at if Arsenal were and Man City were at 10 because they are close to each other like this. If they were at 10 last season, Man United ended the season at 3, honestly, or even 2. We are so far off them. But right now, even early into the season with these players barely jailing with each other, I feel like we are already at 5 at average. We are not so far from them. And I'm saying 5 games into the season, if we're at 2 out of 10 and they were at 10 out of 10, we are at 5 out of 10 and they are probably still at 10. So we can get at them. We are not so far off. So it's a matter of time. So that's for me a huge positive for Manchester United. The progress we are making when it comes to the final third, you can see that what Ruud van Nistelrooy is doing with these players is beginning to make sense. The players are enjoying it. The rotations make every player happy. They're enjoying it. They're attacking, we are flowing, we are balanced. We are not creating many spaces through the middle. Of course, they are still there. We're not as compact, but probably that's because our solution in the middle, Emmanuel Ugarte, is yet to get to full fitness and fit in proper. So the progress is there. At least we know that the back line is better. Our goalkeeper is more confident. I can tell you now, you can try to compare Andre Onana to David Raya. But yet we know that Andre Onana is actually a better goalkeeper than David Raya. It's just that Onana also, lost it in his first season because he came and, was playing with a terrible team that was all over the place. Right now, you can see he's also growing back in confidence. I see a team that is progressing steadily. In terms of improvement, I feel like we are on the right track 100%. Never mind me coming here and venting and, calling out Erik Ten Hag for the poor substitutions and all. Yes, they are there. Those will always be there. When we don't win a game, we will always come and question the manager. But it doesn't take away the fact that we are making huge progress in certain key areas in this game. For me, that's very important. Let me know what you think. Drop down a comment and give me your 2 cents on how you feel we compare with Man City and Arsenal. If we go player per player, which I don't want to do, but I will do it because I think the fans love it. If you go player per player, Raya is of course on form now, but like I said, Onana is not far off David Raya currently as of yesterday and today. He's not so far off him. Go talk about the back line. I feel our centre back partnership, Martinez and Delete, are getting there. They are getting better. And the advantage we also now have more in Delete is that he can also head balls almost the way Gabriel can. He also gets to the end of those corners and set pieces, which Gabriel does. Of course, Gabriel is more effective because he scores more, but that's because he's been there longer, playing with his teammates. You can see that over time, if the lead keeps getting there and getting these heads, he will start scoring more goals with his head for Man United. So there is that balance. So our centre back pairing is, for me, showing that it will be firm and great. On the right, Mazwawi, proper fitting in. Go to the middle. Of course, you've got Ugarte, and they have got all these players. I'm using Arsenal now, but you look at the midfield three of Arsenal and the midfield three of Man United. Of course, it's still it's still off. We are a bit behind them, but you can see that it's just a matter of reorganizing ourselves. Ugarte comes in, and we see how Eric Ten Hag organizes around Ugarte, and I'll tell you, we will be able to match them. The attack, when it comes to the forward, everything the Arsenal forwards can do, Man United forwards can do in Garnacho, Ahmad, and now Zakzi. There is excitement from these kids. Of course, they have got a Bukayo Saka, who is certainly quite ahead of Ahmad and our wingers. But I think, by and large, the whole group, the goals we are scoring, we're actually, I think, scoring more goals through our forwards than Arsenal are. Because many of their goals are coming either, of course, from Saka, but also centre backs, midfielders. But you can see that we are not so far off, guys. We are not so far off. Man United will soon be back. We're on the right track.